There you go. Now it does. Yep.
It's preparing to live stream. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's doing it. Says it's doing it.
Mhm.
Good job.
Here we go.
Do I share my screen and show the word of the day, or do I put it into the chat? How do I do that?
Share.
Share. Okay.
And put it in chat. Belt and
Okay.
suspenders.
Okay.
Now, how do I get back to the meeting now? Oh, okay, wait a minute.
You are.
All right, got
We
it.
hear you.
Morning. Good morning.
Good
Hey,
morning,
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
Good morning.
Okay. Let me know
Oh,
if I can share
right.
or when I should share my screen. I'm not sure when you guys want me to show you the word of the day.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll tell you.
What's
Yep.
that? Thank you, Chris.
absolutely, we'll tell
I want to
you.
make sure I follow the format.
And
Okay.
Emmanuel, are you good with table topics?
Yes, I'm gonna try.
Excellent, excellent.
That's all.
Gonna try. Thank you.
You will do well.
It's 7
Thank
o'clock.
you. Thank you. Hi, Tom.
Okay, good morning, early birds. It is 7 o'clock. Let's get this show on the road. I'm your Sergeant at Arms, and the mission of a Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment. Every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills that foster self-confidence and personal growth. These meetings are recorded for our members. Earlybird Toastmasters may also use these recordings for club promotions. It's important for everyone to practice good Zoom meeting etiquette. Please keep your microphones muted unless you're actively involved in the conversation, and remember to unmute yourself to speak. We want to see you. Keep your camera turned on during the meeting unless you do not wish to participate. Be aware that the camera sees everything. Use the chat. You can chat privately or with everyone. Now help me welcome our presiding officer, our president, Toastmaster, Jim Gould.
Well, thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Mary Helen Day, and good morning, early birds. This is the peak of the week. Think of that. We're part of an educational organization that operates clubs worldwide for the purpose of promoting communication, public speaking, and leadership. This meeting is in order, and thank you all for being here. We have an invocation and pledge led this morning by someone I'm not quite sure is here. Would someone like to do an invocation?
I will do the invocation. I am Tom Quinn here in Fort Lauderdale. And this is in the Christian tradition. It is written by a French priest, Michel Quost. It's relatively short, but I thought it'd be relevant for us this morning. This morning, Lord, I am afraid. I am afraid, for your gospel is terrible. It is easy to hear it preached. It is relatively easy not to be shocked by it, but it is very difficult to live by it. Mr. President. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Okay. Excellent. Chris Gould, you have a joke this morning, don't you?
I do. And it's about you. My husband yelled at me from downstairs the other day saying, "Do you ever get a shooting pain across your body? Like someone's got a voodoo doll of you and they're stabbing it?" I replied, "No." He yelled back, "How about now?"
I don't think that's funny at all.
Mr. President.
Okay, our grammarian today is our guest, Toastmaster Tim Moffat. Give us the word of the day.
Absolutely. The word of the day is, let me share my screen here. Zenith. The time at which something is most powerful or successful. Under Justinian, the Byzantine Empire reached its zenith of influence. The word is zenith. And for
Okay.
anybody who is in my era, you also might remember the TV that was a zenith. Just saying,
I
that
think
gives you a
we
little
had
bit
a
of
Zenith
there.
TV.
All
They
right,
were
thank you.
good.
I will be tracking that in how many, who says it, and give a report at the end of the meeting.
Okay, cool. We'll talk about that in a couple. It's time for self-introductions. I'll go around my Zoom screen, tell us who you are and briefly what you're doing these days, and try to use the word of the day, zenith, in your intro. I see Jim, distinguished Toastmaster Jim Day, has his hand up as the timer this morning, so I'm going to start with him. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guest and our area director. My name is Jim Day, DTM. I'm your treasurer. Today I'll be your timer. And I also had a Zenith portable television back in the 50s. And that portable TV was heavier than my big HP printer right now, and it had handles on the side, so they called it a portable. You only needed a two-wheel hand truck to move it around. And what we've been doing? Riding. Mary Helen and I did over almost 800 miles last week on the bike, and over the next week I'll be doing probably about 1,100 miles. So having fun. Back to you.
That's a lot of miles sitting on those things. That's great. And the other end of the day, family, distinguished Toastmaster Mary Helen Day.
Yes, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and our distinguished area director, Tim Moffett, and our guest. Oh, and my guest. Okay. Yes, talking about Zenith TV. Yes, I do remember, because I used to work for a Panasonic distributor, and that was a long time ago because they were in direct competition with Zenith and RCA. Panasonic and Sony were the ones coming on board, and everyone was afraid of those Japanese because they were making things so much better, and we were afraid. Well, things change, don't they? Who's making our TV sets now, folks? Mr. President.
Korea. Korea. Thank you. Toastmaster Jose Freire.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Jose Ferrer, most welcome guest, and our area director, Tim Moffett, most welcome. I now have a remembrance of an appreciation of what it takes to get up at this time and have a Toastmasters meeting. Normally I'm in Spain, 6 hours ahead of you. And so for me, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon there, but I'm visiting here in Fort Lauderdale this time. So it's been an early morning start for me. And Zenith, apart from TVs and clocks and radios, they had watches. There's a Swiss watch company called Zenith since 1800s and change. They make watches. But for me, the Zenith of my day is coming to you guys at Toastmasters. Back to you.
And we agree. I see the Tom Quinn.
Mr. President, our Tim, our area director, my fellow Toastmasters, and of course, Mickey, it's good to see all of you this morning. This is the peak of the week. The zenith of the moon, I believe, is tomorrow when it is at full, oh gosh. Anna, you're really good at this. What do they call it? This particular moon? It's not the rabbit moon.
It's a September moon. September moon, I think I read.
King tide.
The harvest moon.
Is it king
So
tide?
the zenith will be in a moon above us. I was going to say a planet, but it's not really a planet. I'm here in Fort Lauderdale, just enjoying it. I'm looking forward to a walk with my good friend Mary Helen after this meeting. It'll be fun to sort of rejoin that kind of thing. And I remember Zenith not as a television, but as a radio. My uncle had one of those things, and it was as huge as it was big, it was heavy, and you could get overseas broadcast on it. It was multiple, and you had to click this thing And it was very interesting to see that. And but today, the zenith of my day is just as was just said by, it is being here with you. The peak of the week. Back to you.
Thank you. Toastmaster Pam Scrimshire.
Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters and our area director. So glad to see you here. Yes, I'm Pam Scrimshire. I am working on presentation mastery as my pathway. I'm up here in Windermere, Florida, near Orlando. Zenith. Well, I hope that we have seen the zenith of the temperatures. It's starting to get a little cool here in the evenings. We're going to say mid-70s, but for those of us in Florida, we know that's cool. So it's been wonderful. I hope it's the zenith of the temperatures. And yes, the peak of the week here, the zenith of my week is being here at Earlybird Toastmasters. Back to you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. And now, live from Studio V for Van, it's Chris Gould.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, and so happy to have our guest, Tim Moffitt, with us today. I am Chris Gould, PM5EH3, and yes, we are coming to you from our camper van parked in a parking lot in Wilmington. I wanted to say Delaware, but no, it's Wilmington, North Carolina. And remembering what I think will probably be the zenith of my life is when we lived full time in a motor home for 14 years. I'm so glad that we did that. It allows us to be so comfortable. We're immediately at home as soon as we drive away from our house in Fort Lauderdale. We are at home in this little camper van. And yes, believe it or not, we have 2 video studios. I am in the back of the van. This is a 21-foot van, and Jim is in the front. And if you want to experience the zenith of life, go RVing. Mr. President.
Agreed. Okay, who do I see there? Anna Ilson. So good to see you.
Good morning, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests and area director. My name is Anna Ilson. I'm Innovative Planner 3, Engaging Humor 3. I also remember Zenith televisions or radios from my childhood, as well as RCA, I think was that dog with the megaphone, your master's voice or something like that. That image was also imprinted in me. Next month, our yoga teacher is relocating to Florida, and she has promised to do full moon beach yoga, which will be Hunter's Moon, I believe, at the end of October. That will be the zenith of yoga class in that month.
Oh, cool.
Back to you.
Wonderful. It sounds great. Toastmaster Marie Rock.
Good morning, Mr. President. Fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and dignitary area director Tim Moffitt. My name is Marie Rock. I am Strategic Relationships and Engaging Humor's double pathway, and I aspire to reach the zenith of public speaking sometime, but I keep trying. I'm clawing up the mountain to the zenith. Mr. President.
Thank you. And let's see, Toastmaster Emmanuel Metier.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters. I'm Emmanuel Metier from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I like to use that word, as Tom Quinn always say, today is the peak of the week. It's my zenith, the zenith of the week, to be on the Zoom with you to assist with the meeting. And I really appreciate to be there today. And back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. And from Japan, Nikki, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Toastmaster President, follow our Toastmasters. My name is Miki. I'm joining from Japan. Mary Helen just mentioned Japan was used to product the Zenith stuff, like high technology stuff. But nowadays, we use different country product. So, but anyway, my personal zenith was in America was Toastmasters. You guys, thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's good to see you. And now our area director and our guest this morning, Toastmaster Tim Moffitt. Introduce yourself. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. Yes, I am your area director, and it is my pleasure and honor to be with you all this morning. I'm happy to be here. This is my official visit, so I am watching a little bit more closely, and everybody so far is doing a fantastic job. Keep the smiles up, and that gives you extra points. Back to you, Mr. President.
That's all we need is extra points. Okay, I think I've hit it all. I am Competent Toastmaster Jim Gould. I'm an innovative presenter, level 5. I just finished that. Presentation Mastery, working on level 4. I'm a 3, and I'm working in Engaging Humor, EH1. I think we'll get credit. But it's so important to go in and into pathways and get credit for those speeches that you're doing. I noticed that Pam just got credit for one. That's great. Well, we're on the road. We're happy to be here. And we met an old friend for lunch yesterday, and that's so nice. I highly recommend visiting old friends because some of them might not get too much older. And it's a little scary. It's all right, though. Our club has met all of the requirements to be a President's Distinguished Club, and part of that is getting new members, and I think we can do that. I was listening to our director, Lois Margolin, last night, and she was saying that the district can easily get a few more people, and we'll have all kinds of awards. So, who has some business for the good of the club before we get started? Chris?
Yeah, just a little follow-up on that. Yes, Pam did submit her for her award, and I gave it to her. And Jim, you submitted a couple that hadn't been done, and we have others. And according to the dashboard on Toastmasters International, we are now at 45% of our educational goals towards President's Distinguished Club for this year. Just had to make sure that got in there while we have our area director in attendance.
Always good. Let's do what we can to impress the man. And we have to give our director a little bit of time during this meeting. I'm not sure when that should be. So, but let's get on with the meeting first, and then we'll introduce our area director. But it's now my pleasure to introduce your Toastmaster of the day, our Toastmaster of the day, and that is Marie Rock.
Mr. President, thank you. It's wonderful to see all the Earlybird Toastmasters and the returning Earlybird Toastmasters and our distinguished and warm and wonderful guests. Toastmasters meetings are the same all over the world. It's an international organization, and no matter where you go, Toastmasters meetings have 3 parts. Part 1 is table topics, where we practice our impromptu speaking. Then we have prepared speeches. Finally, what some people call the zenith of the meeting is the evaluations, where we can all learn how to speak better. We cannot do this all alone. We do have some helpers with our meeting, and not seeing Alita Richmond, do we have another person who will be our awe counter for today? Chris Gould, thank you. Chris, can you tell us what the awe counter will do?
I will be listening for those verbal pauses, the uhs, erms, and keeping track of them. And I am going to try to alert you since a ding doesn't work very well in this. I am going to try to alert you visually. We'll see how that goes by doing that. All right. So when I hear an R, I'm going to try to blink on or up at you. And then I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gould, the flashing awe counter. Our area director has graciously volunteered to be grammarian. Toastmaster Moffat, can you tell us what you'll be doing today as grammarian?
Absolutely, Madam Toastmaster. As a grammarian, I'm going to be listening closely to the use of the English language. If I hear any proper usage, I'll record that. In addition, if I hear things that are really nice, some nice quotes, clever use of the language, I'll record that as well. And I will give that report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Moffat. And we will acknowledge the man with his hand raised in the corner, Toastmaster June Day. Keep an eye on Distinguished Toastmaster Day so you know when your time is up. Now, to start our meeting, we have someone who's doing table topics for the very first time. I've been looking forward to this. Toastmaster Emmanuel Metayer. The square is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today is my first day doing table topic. And table topic is a section of the meeting that provide opportunity for members not speaking on the program to participate and to practice impromptu speaking. It helps to demonstrate really valuable skills, especially if you are speaking in front of a group of people. And at the end of your speech, you come across questions that you did not prepare for those questions. You simply have to come up with answers on the spot. And this is the great opportunity for us to practice. I will call upon the timer for the timing requirements.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Timing requirements for table topics is 1 to 2 minutes with a 30-second deviation only at the end to qualify. At 1 minute, the green will come on. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, the amber. At 2 minutes, I will show up the red. At 2 minutes and 31 seconds, our illustrious president may just wipe you off the screen. Back to you, Emmanuel.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. The first question, I will just share my screen really quick. Not sure if I have opportunity to share. Of course I do. And this question will be for Miss Anna Wilson.
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. If I could build a garden with only 3 plants, which ones would I grow? I like perennials. They're pretty, they're colorful, they're resilient. I like bougainvilleas. Again, they make me happy just to look at them. Perennials, bougainvilleas, chrysanthemums. Those are other nice plants. And hopefully, these 3 types of plants that I have picked are self-resilient, self-sufficient, and fend well under distressful circumstances, because I am not a green thumb. I either overwater plants on impulse when I remember and the leaves start turning spotty brown, or I starve them for water and then they wilt away. Not my forte. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Madam Anna. The second question is for Mr. Jim Day. I'm gonna share my screen really quick.
I have a problem is because of what I have on my screen. I can't read when you share the screen.
I will just read it to you. Have you ever been horseback riding?
Mr. Topic Master, have I ever been horseback riding? Absolutely. I did a horseback riding when I lived in Milford, Michigan, and got my daughter into doing it as well. Came very close to buying her a horse, because when you only have one child and it's a daughter, pretty much everything she asks for, she receives. We had a stable probably around 2,000 yards away from our house at that time, so we could easily have a horse. But I found that the horse moved a little too slow and it only had 1 horsepower. So I got on a different kind of horse. It's called a Harley. And that horse moves a lot faster, and I don't have to feed it oats, although it does consume a lot of fuel and a lot of coin for all the repairs. Maybe the horse might have been cheaper. Back to you, sir.
Good.
You're muted, Emmanuel.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I never had a chance to ride a bike, but I would take lesson because I only have one daughter. So I hope that this experience is not repeated. My next question is for Mr. Jose. What is the scariest movie you have ever seen?
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, I am not a very big fan of scary movies any longer, but when I was younger, I was. And so some of the scary movies that I do remember are things like The Exorcist, if any of you have seen that movie. That was back in the days when special effects were not really in play. And so when that girl turned her head 180 degrees on the screen, that was pretty interesting. Rosemary's Baby was another one that was very scary for me. I was young then, maybe 13, 14 when I saw that. I probably shouldn't have seen that movie. But back then, I was tall. I could sneak into movie theaters. They thought I was older than I was. And Rosemary's Baby was the story of a baby being the devil incarnate into a baby, into Rosemary's Baby. And it was a pretty scary movie as well. Other ones that I particularly enjoy, well, Friday the 13th, the first one, was pretty scary. And I think that's probably the last scary movie I saw. After that, I think we were like on Friday the 13th, part 800. I think they've made like 800 of those, but I stopped at 1. So scary movies are an interesting venue for people. Not for me. Halloween is something that kind of doesn't sit well. Although when I was young, I used to, throw eggs and all that stuff. That was funny. But the scary part of things, I don't know. Other things are better, like diving. Right, Jim? Back to you, Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, Mr. Jose. The next question is for Mr. Tom Quinn.
Okay.
What is the scary? Which do you prefer, summer or winter?
That's a good question, particularly for someone who has come from Chicago in the middle 50s and moved with his family to Fort Lauderdale. Recently, I traveled up to New York State, and that was in the end of April, the beginning of May. So to compare seasons, I like Florida. I used to tease people years ago, the abbreviation for California was CALIF. It's been abbreviated, but I used to tell people CALIF really means come and live in Florida. I love this state. It's a beautiful place. There's a real mystery about it and a magic about it. A lot of people say, gee, there's no real seasons. Oh, there are. If you are sensitive and if you pay attention, you can see how things change. And we're in the process now of having things change. It's a beautiful place. When it rains here, though, I must confess, it's like a cow on a flat rock. It comes down terrible. It really does. It's earth-shaking. The only thing that I don't like about Florida, and it's part of the summer-fall season, is the storm that the Incas named that comes out of the Atlantic Ocean. I won't say the word because if I do, then I'll put it into the universe, and I refuse absolutely to do that. However, those are scary events. But other than that, it's a lot better than living in Kansas and dealing with the tornadoes that come. And it's a lot better than the freezing cold weathers of my former birth city of Chicago. Oh my God. Can you imagine living through that stuff? Back to you, Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, Mr. D. Tom Quinn. That's a good contrast. And my next question is for Chris Gold. Which do you prefer to shop, the mall or online store?
Oh, Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, and most welcome guest, shopping. They say that women like to shop. I do not. I guess when I was a teenager, I would love to go to the mall. And Fort Lauderdale had a wonderful mall called the Galleria. It still does, but it was very different back then. When I would go to the mall, the Galleria in high school, it was outdoors. You walked like a sidewalk around the outside of the shops. So it wasn't like a big mall. It was just a strip of all these shops. And I would shop at 579. I could fit into a 5, 7, or 9 back then. Now, oh, I am so happy to have online shopping. So happy. And yet, although I do tend to agree with the antitrust suits that are coming out now against the big tech companies, Amazon being one of them, we don't want one or two companies to take over the world, but Amazon is so convenient. I love it. I need a new pair of shoes. I just go to Amazon. I say, buy another one of the ones that I bought last year and send them to me. Just a click, done. No time needed. I know I'm getting the right thing. And if perchance I get something that I don't like, they make it so easy. Just put it back in the bag, and now you can drop it off at certain. Where did I drop it off? At Whole Foods. There's a counter at Whole Foods that you can just go and give your stuff back, and they give you the credit to go through Amazon with. You don't even have to figure out how to put it into a package and get it in the mail. I love Amazon. I'm probably part of the problem then. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is for Miss Mary Rock. Which one do you prefer, virtual versus real classroom?
Mr. Metayer, Toastmaster Metayer, I enjoy these questions. Thank you. And I would prefer to shop. I love to shop. And I like to be real and in person and try things on and see people and chit chat with clerks and just have the whole experience. I recently had a dilemma My feet grew. At this age, I have big feet. I can't believe this. And I tried to buy shoes online. Doesn't work. So I went to the local running store, Running Wild. They fit my foot perfectly. And I'm in my happy new running shoes right now. And I could not have done this online because the toes are different, the heels are different, the support is different. So there's something to be said for brick and mortar stores. And thank goodness that the online retailers do have easy returns, because I find that I return more than I keep. I'm better off going to the Galleria Mall and just savoring the experience of in-person shopping with real people, with real stuff. And I just hope they don't go away. So please support your local retailers. Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Miss Mary Rourke. I switch it. I should have asked you about the shopping, and Miss Chris for the virtual classroom versus the real classroom. And I'm not sure if I can continue asking questions, Mr. President. Can I continue?
I think we'll run short on time, so I
Okay.
think we should finish that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And the timing results for table topics, everyone qualified. Anna, 1 minute 15. Myself, 1 minute 19. Jose, 1 minute 40. Tom Quinn, 2:07. We had Chris also at 2:07, and Marie Rock, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Back to you.
Thank you,
I see
Mr.
the poll
Topic
report.
Master. Thank you, Mr. Timer. Very clever to put the questions on screen. Thank you for that. Very interesting. Now we're going to take a 2-minute break so we can figure out what's going on with our speakers and evaluators. Mr. Timer, can you give us 2 minutes? Thank you. Okay. Pam, how
Marie, your camera really looks good today. Have you changed something, Marie?
Yeah, I think last week when I was moving it around to stand up, I put it at a different angle. Thank you.
Marie, did you have a question?
Yes. Do we have the timing for your speech, Pam?
Yes, 5 to 7.
Okay. And Becky Jo? I'm sorry, you're muted, Becky. 5?
5 to 7.
Okay. Do we have a title or a description, Becky Jo?
Procrastination is king.
Procrastination is king?
Yes.
Okay, Jim Gould, who are you evaluating?
I'll do Pam.
Okay. Tom, and you're evaluating Becky Jo. Okay,
Correct.
okay, good. All right. Thank you for reminding me about the polls. It's, it's like when you're an ah counter and you forget to count ahs because you get so involved in everyone talking.
No, it never happens.
No. Okay, so that. And
Right.
speakers.
Yeah, Tim, when would you like to do that? We can get our Toastmaster to do the introduction. Tim? Oh, he's he's out for coffee, I guess.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Day.
All right. So Toastmaster Marie Rock, we should introduce our area director probably after the prepared speeches for whatever it is that he wants to do, and then before the evaluations. Does that sound good?
That sounds great, unless you'd like to do it now. He's back.
Ah,
I was
Okay.
making coffee. So,
I
of course, my
figured.
coffee pot ran out of water, so I had to fill up the water. It's like when you're trying to rush to get things done. I don't have a lot today. I just want to remind everybody that this Saturday at 4:00 is the Area 21 Council meeting. And I know, Chris, I think you, and maybe you, Jim, I'm not sure if you're in my WhatsApp group or not. When I first got all of your phone numbers, they were all over the place. Some of them said landline, some of them said cell. So I wasn't sure when I was adding you if you got it or not. But I really want everybody to be there that can be there, all the officers. It's going to be a great meeting. We're going to talk about ways to build membership. You'll share your ideas as well. Also, we're going to talk about the contest. We have the area contest date. We have the the division contest date. We're going to talk about that. We voted on the format, so we'll share that as well. And then there's some inspirational videos, some ways to get you motivated. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, full participation. We're going to make it fun. Who wants to get together on a Saturday afternoon, right? We're going to make it fun, and you'll be glad that you did. So please, 3:00 on Saturday. I hope to see you all there. Other than that, I'm happy. Oh, there's a kid. Hey, kitty. Other than that, I'm really thrilled. I'm at my zenith right now in this career as an area director. And it just gets better and better because of people like you. So thank you, Jim. Thank you for letting me share. I'll see you all on the call on Saturday.
okay. And thank you for visiting. It's always good to see you. And local boy makes good. Excellent.
Thank you, Area Director Moffett. What an enthusiastic invitation. I love your energy. We're moving on to our prepared speeches, and they do have timing requirements. Distinguished Toastmaster Day, will you give us the timing, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Both speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I will turn on the green. At 6 minutes, I will turn on the amber. And at 7 minutes, I will turn on the red. There is a 30-second deviation both at the beginning and the end to qualify. So anywhere from 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 7 minutes and 30 seconds keeps you in the game. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Day. It all goes so quickly, doesn't it? Our first speaker today always fascinates us. I can't wait to hear her speech. Toastmaster Pamela Scrimshire is working on presentation mastery in the Evaluation and Feedback Project 1. Toastmaster Pam Scrimshire loves starting a new project. Finishing the last minute details, not so much. With this pathway, she wants to learn to finish what she is working on in a timely fashion. Even after being a Toastmaster for many years, there is always something to learn. Toastmaster Scrimshire, on to something new. Toastmaster Scrimshire.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Yes, I have finished the Engaging Humor Pathway. As of probably maybe Tuesday, I believe it was, I gave my last speech on this pathway June 29th, almost exactly 3 months ago. All I had left to do was the little survey that assessed my skills at the end. A little 7-question survey, a little survey that would take maybe 2 minutes. I promised our Vice President of Education, Chris Gould, I would do this survey. I meant to do this survey, but I kept procrastinating. Now, it wasn't that I didn't want to do the survey. it just didn't do the survey, and it hung over me and it bothered me, but obviously not enough to do the survey. And then this week I got up, I turned my computer on, and I did that survey. What a relief. I'm done. My fellow Toastmasters, our guests, and our area director, the last question of the survey is always, I understand how Toastmasters, this project in Toastmasters relates to my life. You know, I think it's the other way around. I understand how my life relates to Toastmasters. I am a non-finisher. I love to start projects, finishing, and those little surveys. Now, if you've done a pathway, you've done a lot of those surveys. I am determined on this next pathway, I am going to learn to do those surveys in a timely fashion. So we'll see how it works out. I'm also going to learn how to incorporate PowerPoint in my speeches. So we'll see how that turns out. And you can wish me luck. We'll see. Oh, where are you, my little thing? There you are. Okay. Today, I want to tell you about a new project that I've started. I have presentation mastery, and I have taken up painting. Not house painting, although I have painted the 2 walls in a living room recently to get color on them before our new couch was delivered. But I have taken up watercolors. So let me see if I can find them. Ah, yes, the blank page, like a blank speech. So the first thing we did is we learned to smear paint on a piece of paper. It's a whole new project. It's a whole new way of doing things. And you just have to start somewhere, sort of like an icebreaker. You just have to throw yourself in. And so we did that. And then we added color to the paper. We added water and we smeared color across. And then we put salt on the paper in 3 areas, and the salt sucked the color up. New techniques to learn. Well, this was very exciting. We added leaves, and I had painted dandelions. I was hooked. This was magic. This is wonderful. I can do this. I'm very, very excited about this. The next painting was a little more difficult. We had to draw in a magnolia flower that we were going to paint. Again, learning new techniques, sort of like adding vocal variety or gestures to our speeches. But if we practice, we'll get better. Now, this was more complicated because I also had to learn about where not to paint, because there isn't any white paint in watercolors. White is where you don't have something. And just like we always want to add a lot to our speeches, in a 5 to 7 minute speech, we also have to learn what to leave out. This is particularly difficult for someone like me, who has a lot to say and doesn't really want to leave out any of my inspiring words. Very hard. But we keep practicing. Each time we paint, we start with a new set of test colors and a new piece of paper. My last piece incorporated several colors. This is going to be hard, but we can do this. And what I learned here was when to stop painting, when to quit doing things. Now, that's extremely difficult because we always want to add a little bit more, and we want to pick at it, and we want to fiddle with it, and we want to keep doing things to it. But sometimes, especially even with a speech, we need to stop. And so I ended up with a flamingo. Now, I could keep trying to fix the little parts I don't like. But what I'm going to do, instead of doing that, is I'm going to take it to my teacher and I'm going to listen to what she has to say about it, what her suggestions are, and then I'm going to do it again. That's sort of like this speech. This is the evaluation speech where one is supposed to go back and do it again. And I hope that if I listen to my teacher in watercolors, I will have a better painting. If I listen to my evaluator and take their advice, then my next speech will be better. And the beauty of, I found at my watercolor teacher and here at Toastmasters, I get kind and loving and knowledgeable feedback to help me improve. Now, have I painted well enough? Excuse me. I'm losing my stop share. Where is stop share? Am I learning to paint well enough to paint my little Lepidoptera? Probably not. Probably not. But I'm going to practice, just like here at this Toastmasters. And I'm going to fill out those assessments. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Scrimshire. Always on to something new and fresh. How exciting. A new pathway, a new hobby. Our next speaker has challenged us in many ways with fascinating speeches. She is also a radio speaker, and I know that she's going to give a fascinating speech today. Please welcome Toastmaster Becky Jo Bean.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and dignitaries. Today's speech is a guide to procrastination. Now, I know all of you do things on time. All of you are experts at getting the task done, except for maybe Pam Scrimshire. But if you needed some information on how to actually procrastinate, like really take it to the next level, I am going to give you the way to do that. And I'm going to use this speech as our guideline because I knew 1 week ago that I was doing a speech. This was not a surprise. They didn't ask me at the last minute to do a speech. This was, I think it was written in stone on Friday morning that I agreed to do this. But I thought, tomorrow I'll write the speech. And then, of course, the first thing in getting in the art of procrastination is to get involved in a new series. Because when you get involved in a new series, mine is Only Murders in the Building, you have to watch every single episode. You can't wait a day to go to the next episode when there's already 6. You need to get them all finished. So you have the whole thing in context. So that's the first guide, is find yourself a really good series and get involved in it. Then remember, there's always tomorrow. And if there's not tomorrow, there's the magical place called Someday Isle. Someday Isle is the procrastinators. It's the paradise, the procrastinator's paradise. It's full of palm trees and coconuts and all kinds of distractions. So then the thing to do is to tell yourself the night before the meeting that you can write the speech in the morning. It's okay to write the speech in the morning. Just get up at 5. Set your alarm at 5, get up at 5. And then about 4:30, wake up and change your alarm to 5:46. And then at 5:40, change your alarm to 6:09. At 6:09, hit the snooze button about 5 times. Then you can get up. After that, you can think, well, I need to write the speech. But before you write the speech, you always have to play Wordle. And after Wordle, there's other crosswords in the New York Times that have to be done because you can't start your day without playing the games on the New York Times. I mean, you can't, you know. And then, I don't know, you probably need to unload the dishwasher. Find some mundane tasks. There's some mundane tasks like unloading the dishwasher, folding last night's laundry. You have to clean up after the kitty. There are important things that must be done. They can't be done before the speech. And don't think about the speech while you're doing this, because that would be too productive. You don't want to be too productive. After you do all of that, take a look at the mountain of papers that you have been procrastinating and decide that maybe I should sort those and file them. That's a good thing to do. So basically, mundane tasks. First, remember there's always tomorrow. And then remember that magical place called Someday I'll. And after that, go for the mundane tasks. Mundane tasks work. Now, I did have good intentions of doing all of this, but in life, things get in the way. And in my life, what got in the way before all of these procrastinations was a broken washing machine, a water heater that's flooding my house, a cat that will not stop eating my stuff. So there are legitimate distractions that were happening. But I don't think my procrastination had anything to do with legitimate distractions. I think my procrastination had to do with laziness. I think I was just lazy. And I owe Toastmasters a big apology because I was so lazy that I didn't do my speech until 7:11 this morning. And that is not acceptable. So I want to apologize to Toastmasters for living in Someday I'll, for not making my 5 minutes, but I'm not apologizing because I am the queen of procrastination and I deserve a crown. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bean. Fascinating aspect of procrastination. Please take notes and send them to the different speakers today. We always enjoy having individual input. Mr. Timer, may we have the timing results for our speakers today?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. Both speakers qualified. Pam Scrimshire, 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Becky Jo Bean, 5 minutes and 3 seconds.
Oh, I did qualify.
Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Day. Now, we welcome to our center square, Distinguished Toastmaster Mary Helen Day, our General Evaluator.
Yes, Madam Toastmaster, our fellow Toastmasters and our distinguished guests this morning. We are in a very important part of our meeting. Why? Because our speakers who have so valiantly given those speeches full of information and how to do it, especially Becky Jo Bean's How to Do It speech. But listen, here in Toastmasters, we lovingly evaluate our speakers. Why? We want them to come back. There's nothing worse than a lot of constructive criticism. We need to have a bit of constructive criticism in our Oreo cookie. We need to give them a lot of love, a little bit of constructive criticism, more love, because we want to not only see how we could do better, but we also want to see what we are doing right. Mr. Timer, Toastmaster Day, what is the timing for evaluations?
The timing requirements for evaluations is 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second deviation, both at the beginning and the end. At 2 minutes, the green will come on. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the amber. At 3 minutes, the red will come on, and then it's time to wrap it up. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Well, thank you, Mr. Timer. And evaluating our first speaker, Pam Scrimshire, today is Toastmaster Jim Gould.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I've had a little bit of audio problems here. Everything is fine now. And Pam, your speech was just great. I love the stories. And that's what's so important about the Toastmasters speeches. This is one where you have to give this speech twice. And it was I'm looking forward to the second time because you never were able to share your screen. We did not see your screen share. And I know that's what we wanted to see, is the pretty pictures that you've been painting. However, you did such a good job painting those pictures with your words. You maintained good eye contact throughout the speech. We could see your gestures. We could see your emotions inside there. And it was really good to see. I was a little worried that you were going to miss your intro, the acknowledgments, Madam General or Madam Toastmaster, but you put it in a little bit late and it came in just perfectly. And I think that's a very nice way to do that. Let me see. There we are. Going through there. Your stories are great. I love painting. Sharing the screen was a problem. You need to figure that out. We can test that sometime. We can work together and make that happen. So it makes it easier. It is a tough thing to do. So clarity, your spoken language is clear. Your vocal variety is great. Eye contact, we could tell that you were looking at the camera, and that's so important. Gestures, it's tough to do on a small screen, but it still works. Audience awareness, well, you weren't. I think maybe if when we do a share, we should ask, are you seeing my screen? And if not, then we can move along. But you were very comfortable with not having it there. I'm not even sure if you were recognizing that you didn't have your screen share on, but the interest was great. You engaged the audience. It's interesting, well-constructed content. Everything flowed nicely, and it was a good speech. I look forward to hearing it again, and we'll do that real soon. It was great that you are embracing the pathways and the boot camp and all that stuff, and we'll all get through this together. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gould. Evaluating our second speaker of the morning, Toastmaster Becky Jo Bean, is Toastmaster Tom Quinn.
You're muted.
Can you imagine an Irishman being muted? I couldn't. And Becky Jo wasn't muted this morning either. Although she disclosed my lifelong journey at dealing with deadlines. Even when I was in school, I would put off studying for an exam because things weren't done. And she just absolutely, I'm sure for you, my fellow Toastmasters, talked to your soul. Oh my God, how did you know that about me? How could you disclose that about me? How human, and what a nice, simple approach she had. Her voice was excellent, clear, no hesitation. She had a good presence. If I would criticize anything, I'd like to see her back a little bit from the camera so we could see a little bit more gestures. Yes, something like that, just like she did. Because part of how we talk is with gestures. Now, we're not all Italian, but we do use gestures, and that's an important part of communicating. Her speech was well designed. Did you notice the examples that she talked about and how she put us all in that procrastination favorite place where you could just, you don't have to pay attention to reality, Tom. You could just go ahead and you'll get around to it. And it'll be an award when you finally get there. And there's nothing you can do to stop the clock that's going to require you to talk or require you to meet the deadline, but just take care of the cat, as I do from time to time, because that's an important thing. The cat, if your cat is angry, your life is not going to be a good day. It's not going to be a good event, a good day. She is the queen of procrastination. She's self-proclaimed. If she is the queen, I am the king. I swear no one can be lazier than me. Avoid confrontation with an event. Who wants to do that? And yet when it's done, as it was for her this morning, you could see how she was relieved at the end, and she had a good flowing challenge and a good end. Thank you so much, Becky Jo. It was really a privilege to see you talk. I enjoy it every time. And you are, I'm going to throw back some years ago at a meeting, Becky Jo evaluated me and she said, you might want to do that over again. And that's when I forgot the name of the person that I was talking about. You did a good job. You don't have to do that one over again. You did that so well. Thank you so much for being so genuine and real with us. Back to you, madam.
Thank you, Toastmaster Quinn. And Toastmaster Day, how did our evaluators do this morning?
Both of our evaluators qualified. Jim Gould, 3 minutes, 8 seconds. Tom Quinn, 3 minutes, 12 seconds. Please vote.
Okay, the voting is in now. And now I'm going to evaluate the whole meeting, but before that, we've got to ask our helpers. How did we do with our ahs and our grammar? First of all, we're going to call in our ah counter, who today is Chris Gould. I didn't see you making too many flashing there, Chris, but now you can all you want. It's great. We love it.
Yeah, ah counter was definitely easier in the in-person format, but I did catch a few things. I caught Jim Gould with a let me see. I think that counts as a filler. And I caught Jose with one, and then there were a few ahs. Tom Quinn had one, Emmanuel had a couple, Jim Day had one, and Pam Scrimcher had one. That's it.
Well, thank
Madam
you for
General
keeping
Evaluator.
us on track, Madam Ah Counter. And now our special guest has agreed to be our grammarian today. Let's hear what our distinguished area director has to say about grammar this morning.
You guys are almost flawless. It was so hard to hear I didn't hear any improper grammar. I have one suggestion that was actually for Emmanuel, and I say that he's left, and even that was just minor. So good job on the proper use of the English language. I did have some quotes, thoughts, and words I wanted to share that I really enjoyed. Anna, and I hope I say this, I've never heard this before, but bougainvillas, that was kind of different. It sounded cool. Chrysanthemums, self-reliant, brick and mortar. Those were all good phrases. Jose, baby incarnate, when you were talking about the scary movie. Chris, antitrust suits, reminded me of my banking days. Pam, blank page like a blank speech. For some reason that stuck out to me. Also new techniques to learn. My inspiring words, and this last one just made me chuckle. Ended up with a flamingo. That was kind of good. Becky Jo, the art of procrastination. Yours stuck out to me. It reminded me of my mother. My mother always said, I'm gonna. We were gonna put that on her tombstone, I'm gonna, every day. You said there's always tomorrow and someday I'll. I have that. And you mentioned playing Wordle. I did it this morning before this meeting. I had to play my Wordle. And it wasn't good. It took me 6 tries. I usually get it in 3 or 4. I know, right, Jim? Can you believe it? 6 tries. Other than that, everybody did a fantastic job on the word zenith. Every single one of you guys used it at least twice. And the one who used it more was Marie Rock. You used it 3 times, so congratulations on the word of the day. And that is my report. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian, for your report. We all appreciated fresh eyes looking at what's going on in this meeting. But you did see some things. You saw that that when we don't have people to fill the spots or people can't show up immediately, that we're all willing to jump in and take part in the role. And you were willing to do that today. So we thank you for that ability to do that. We also saw that someone jumped in and did the invocation, Tom Quinn. It was an interesting invocation. I'd never heard something like that before. But again, this is our opportunity to open up the meeting and to inspire us in some form or another. Our Toastmaster of the day, fantastic. We can always depend on Marie Rock to do a professional job and to lead our meeting along accordingly. We had table topics. Emmanuel did it, I believe, for the first time, and he did a great job. And we need to let him know that because, you know, it's hard to jump in doing these roles if you're brand new to the club. But this is how we learn how to do them as we do them, right? And we never start out being great, but we end up being so much better when we volunteer for these roles. The other thing is our speakers. Oh my goodness gracious, I love these speeches. First of all, Pam, what you did was incredible because you took something that's interesting you a lot right now, which is watercoloring, and you made it in such a way that what's in it for me for a Toastmaster. So you were able to relate it to the Toastmaster process. I think that's fantastic. And I think that is a perfect example of speeches that we can do is remember what we're doing and what we're excited about in life and see how we can relate that to Toastmasters in some form or another. I think that was a great way to do that speech. And Becky Jo, I shuddered and I laughed and I cried through the whole thing because I recognized myself so much in that speech. In fact, probably I'm going to have to fold laundry instead of being general evaluator right now, you know, because that's probably the thing I need to do at this moment. But great speeches today. And we had some wonderful evaluations from Toastmaster Jim Gould and Toastmaster Tom Quinn. Very personal, very to the point. And I think that our speakers were able to get a little bit of constructive criticism, but also get the praise that they needed for stepping up and doing speeches. Suggestions for improvement? Well, let's just get more people here at 7 o'clock in the morning. We've got something going on. There's got to be some people that want to keep their minds active, that want to laugh and want to start their day off in a proper way. And this is where it's at, Earlybird Toastmasters. So with that, I'm going to return control of our meeting to our president. Oh, no, our Toastmaster of the day, Marie Rock.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Day, for your perceptive evaluation of our whole meeting. And now, this could be the zenith of our meeting. Who are the winners? Best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Jose Ferrer. Best evaluator, the Tom Quinn. And our best speaker on a new path, Toastmaster Pam Scrimshire. Congratulations to our winners, and thank you for everyone for making the magic of Earlybird Toastmasters happen today. Now I'd like to return the meeting to our president, Toastmaster Jim Gould.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Marie Rock. What a wonderful, wonderful meeting you led today. And we are about done. Does anyone have anything to say about the meeting? Toastmaster Tim Moffitt, our area director.
I will just say that it ran so smoothly like a well-oiled machine. You guys are awesome. To be up this early and have those smiles on your faces and all that energy is amazing. You inspire me. And I'm just glad to be here, and I'm going to show up again and again. Thank you.
Please do. Please do.
Okay, anytime you feel like getting up, we're happy to have you. It's great to see you.
Absolutely.
And Toastmaster Mickey,
Yes. I'm using phone today instead of the computer, so I'm kind of a struggle to how to use the iPhone to do this. But anyway, I'm so happy to see you guys, even I'm far away. It's really good for my study English. Thank you.
Well, we're here for you as long as you need us. So
Okay.
it's great to see you.
Yeah.
Anything else before we end the recording and get the signups for the next meeting? Okay. You can go ahead and stop that then, Mary Helen.